Hi guys, LV here. As always for my videos, this review was requested, and it was requested by the YouTube user tallin. So thank you very much for requesting this album, and based off this video, I do hope you find the opinions I have on this album worth agreeing to. Even before I start this review, I should say I am somewhat familiar with this artist. I do know her name is Shiina Ringo, and as you can see, we're going to be reviewing her 5th studio album,三文ゴシップ, which I believe translates into superficial gossip in English. And hopefully from this video, I do hope that every fan of Ringo will share some of the opinions I have on this. From the attention I've given this artist, one thing I'll say about her is that her musical style is tremendously different from the normal J-pop I've been exposed to. For one, I noticed she seems to erupt her style on the basis of symmetry. Literally, each song is properly arranged, which means that each song has a partner in a sense. Meaning that each song has a partner in the exact opposite side of the record that has the precisely same number of the Japanese characters within its name. I've also noticed when listening to this that it also maintains similar theme both lyrically and musically in most cases of this album. When it comes to reviewing albums, I like to analyze various parts within the musical structure because it helps my understanding from the artist's point of view. So please note, while I try to reflect most aspects, there are some factors that are not completely obvious to me. So if I do miss some things, I apologize for that, and you can be sure to tell me in the comments below as well. Regardless of that, I'll try to analyze this album in the best way I can because based off Ringo's style, it seems this album is structured in a rather poetic setting, and I found that really interesting because this is something I do not usually come across in normal J-pop. So let's get started with this review. The first track is Hyeri. The first thing I noticed is that within this title, the title itself has two readings. Hyeri and Yirgo, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I believe it's Yirgo, but I'm going to say Hyeri based off my loosely translations. Right off the bat, it opens with this jazzy atmosphere that's tainted with these rockish instrumentals. And I also hear traits within this song that's very common within Japanese pop music. Rap. And I really like the rap because it flows really well with the song's theme. The instrumentals, to my surprise, carry distinctive elements to it that strongly emerges with the song's title. Because if you truly listen to the music, it has this prevailing sense of fashion or style that was particularly popular at the time this album was released, and all of which leads to its concept in the lyrics since they strongly reflect that theme. Overall, this was an interesting song, and I love her use of incorporating various different styles within it since it really gives off more life to the mere structure that the song carries. The next track is Rochelle. One thing I adore about this track is that it features the experimentation that's strongly reminiscent of the America soul music. Let's wait a little bit because I'm talking a bit too fast, but it really incorporates like this old gospel feel I would hear in like 1950s music, and I really like what it was doing right here because I thought it was really cool. I also love this rock licking piano that's accompanied with these Motown style organs that's eerily similar to the style of Jackson 5. I want to say it's eerily similar to that. In my opinion, I think the true highlight of this song consists of Ringo's distinctive vocal abilities that she used within this song because they truly show themselves within this track. And it seems like when I read forums and stuff, I guess she's famous for her voice because her voice has like this nasal feel to it, which I don't really mind because I think it sounds really good. I really like how she's just planting these seeds of like fierceness within us because I just love these notes that she does. Like, I love this note right here. I love that. That was so cool. This was one of my favorite tracks of this album because I liked how, like I said before, I liked how she used different vocal techniques because you hear it from her recognizable nasal cries right here to her shaky vocals because as the song gets carried on, she gets rather shaky with her vocals, but I think that was a good thing because it shows that she's really into the song, and it can be fun because I like that part. I remember when I first heard it, I laughed, but I didn't laugh at her. I thought it was I thought it was really good. I thought it was like, because she was really feeling it. I was like, oh yeah, this is fun. Because I like it when artists do that, because it shows that they're into the music, and that's what makes it more fun to listen to, in my opinion. And just the thought of her vocals planting more fun within this song, it creates this favorable attitude towards the song's integrity, and I thought that was really good. First thing I should say about this track, I really love the instrumentals because they almost remind me of like this James Bond like theme. It kind of has to it, and I really like this. But the thing that I found really interesting about this track was that this song was sung almost entirely in English. And while her English is admittedly better than some of her J-pop peers, I will admit it's still a bit difficult to understand her on some parts. But other than that, her English is very good. I can understand her pretty much, I believe, 90% of the time, which, very good. Regardless of the English, I found the structure of the song itself a strong, energetic piece that again consists of the song's title and theme. And her vocals here were very smooth, which strongly aided this good sense of groove within the song's placement. But one thing I found interesting about this song was that this song was almost sung entirely in English. Almost. Because I've noticed within the bridge of this song, she places a Japanese verse within this song, and I don't know about you guys, but maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just overthinking, but I keep wondering, why did she do that? What is the significance of that? Because I do know that wasn't random at all. Like right here, there's the Japanese part, and I'm wondering, why did she do that? And like I said before, I know it's not random because based off her style, there's a reason for it, and I know there's a reason for it, and it's just been bothering me night and day, and it's just, if anyone has a reason of why she may have did that, can you please let me know in the comments below? I would really love to know if you do know. Thank you in advance. Overall, this was a very good song. It was pumped with awesomeness, and this would be one track I'll never get tired of anytime soon. The next track is Zero Chinden Kara. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I apologize if I mispronounce any Japanese within this review. For this song, I like the fact that I had the chance to hear this playful piano within the beginning because it fully introduces the exclusive intensity that's rather hard to ignore about this song. However, one thing I will say about this song is that it's extremely misleading because if you're like me, you don't notice it because this track gives off this cutesy vibe based on the synchronized vocals that she's implying within the verses here. To be honest, I think she did that on purpose just so the lyrics can reach their true highlight, because the lyrics to this song are very stimulating in a sense. They seem simple at first, yet when you truly analyze its interpretations, they're very dark in a sense. And the way she's singing this doesn't help diminish that argument either. Her vocals are very cutesy, yet if you really listen, you can still hear this hidden edge within her voice. And discovering that fact was very interesting because it truly highlights the eeriness that's now surrounding this song. Overall, in terms of my own opinion, this is a fun song that does a good job displaying its presence. However, the way it alternates between this eerie yet joyful melody slightly creeps me out in this sense and is one of the main reasons why I'm always afraid to listen to it. But despite that, it's one of my favorites off this album because this song, it's more darker than it appears. And that's one thing about this song that truly fascinates me. The next track is Cuddy Sunny Otome. Again, I'm hearing another song that's not always as it seems. On the surface, it seems like another jazzy piece that doesn't radiate anything special, but the lyrics to it are an entirely different story. One thing I've learned about this artist is that I'm finding her lyrics are a lot consistently dark than I realized. Within this song, the lyrics to it are addressing many different matters, yet the one thing, based from the title, that keeps getting highlighted is this uneasy graphic sex that she seems to be having with this person she can't entirely trust. It's a difficult subject that doesn't seem to hold the simplest of meanings. Based off analyzing this album and this artist in general, that this is a pattern that Ringo likes to keep within her songs. The happier her music, the more devastating the lyrics are, all of which aids this bittersweet harmony that goes along with her vocals. it's actually as sad as it is happy. Again, this was another song that proved itself to be above average, and I enjoyed listening to this very much. The next track is Sumo no I Karada. One thing I will say about the track itself is that the music itself that was implied within this was beautifully put together. It reminded me of music I hear in Disney, which isn't a bad thing because I love everything about Disney music, so this was a very good reminder. Despite those quick qualities that the music itself maintains, I will admit that the music can get a bit much, especially for Ringo's voice, because she seems to be pushing herself to keep along with the beat, and you can kind of hear it here too. It causes her to lose a bit of her vocal as the song carries, between its blasting brass alongside the frantic strings, and I will admit it is kind of scary when she loses her vocals. It's a little scary. But despite that dent of the song, I will say that the song itself, in terms of its instrumental, it carries these beautiful sounds that work alongside with the theme of the album quite well. Even though that little vocal part slightly ruined it, the music itself makes up for it. The next track is Shun. Hearing this marked a change on the album because we finally reached the slower part of it. As I said before, this track was relatively calmer in comparison to the other tracks I've heard. I like the fact that within this tune, you get to hear elements of R&B and jazz within this piano ballad, and I really like the way she did that because it gave the album a more gentle side, and I thought that was a really good plus for this. And although I do like the slowness of her vocals here, I will say her vocals are a bit shaky, but I guess I've grown accustomed to them as I kept listening to this, because the song gets better as we keep listening. That was really beautiful right there. Overall, this was a good ballad that gives a peaceful change within the placement of this album. The next track is Futari Botchi Jikan. I fell in love with this tune because the music itself whisks me away to a time where music had a more simpler approach, and that was a really good reminder from this. I enjoyed listening to this because this tune had another sense of peacefulness that I really enjoyed. You can hear it within the beats, and it's just, you can't just help but move your body to it because it's just so, I don't know, it's just, it's really hard to describe this song because this song is very cool, and I like how she uses elements of those smooth jazz because it just takes you away and it just takes you into this beautiful world that you can't help but want to stay in. And I absolutely adored these tap dancing breaks right here. I just love that because hearing that was quite creative to me, since it fully encases this old world feel that I really thought was a good mark for this album. And I also like how the music itself flows perfectly with the song's title and theme because it features traits you'd find within two lovers. Overall, this was a fantastic tune. I like the fact that Ringo's able to capture all these different styles within jazz, but still maintains her own distinctive style. Because, I don't know, for me, like, when hearing this tune, it still maintains this certain accessibility that still goes with the theme of the album, while still providing a wider range that all music lovers can enjoy. And I really love that about this song, so A+ song. Totally in love with this. We finally reach another song on this album that's entirely in English. I really like this song a lot, you guys. I really like how she strings the English alongside the strong piano and trumpet that's lurking within the background of this. It highlighted the aroma around this song wonderfully. For some reason, based off my loosely translations, it seems the lyrics to this song are very intense. Of course, when you first look at them, they seem innocent enough, yet the words themselves have a double edge to it, especially from the song's concept, which talks about this fake gentleman, which that's directly what the song translates to in English. Based off the lyrics, I'm not sure if she's angry at this dude or at herself, because the message of the song can go either way. I don't know about you guys, but I think the instrumentals also highlight the factors that surround the lyrics based off the urgency within the jazzy arrangement here. Because if you really listen to the music itself seems to flare with beside her voice, and that can sometimes make listening to this a bit intense because the music goes alongside this hidden anger within this, and I thought that was very interesting. In my opinion, I thought that this was another song that executed its brilliance regarding its lyrical content. The next song is尖った手口. I love this song, you guys. This was a tune that incorporates tremendous amount of electronic sounds alongside these distinctive guitars and computerized vocals that strongly induces this futuristic feeling that the song carries. The vocal distortion that she implied within this arrangement was very well done because it uses this appealing mix of futuristic imagery that enhances the virtual atmosphere that this song carries itself. This song was quite the eye-opener for me because when I first heard this, I wasn't expecting this change of pace at all because so far the album it's been incorporating a steady jazzy feel to it. Yet when it transcended into this rockish side, I'll admit I wasn't prepared, but when it reaches that chorus right here, that made listening to this worth it. Overall, this was definitely one of the album's most strongest tracks since it definitely induces this particular aroma about it that won't be leaving your head anytime soon. The next track is Irokoi Sata, I believe. In no time at all, the album heads right back into its usual jazzy self, which I will admit I found it a bit disappointing when I first heard it, because after the epicness of that previous tune, I was expecting more rock, but I guess this is okay. From the countless times I've listened to this, I think it's safe to say that within this tune, she uses this solo occultation that highlights her more dynamic vocals. And I will be honest, I actually really like it that way because it begins with this sensuous, breathy melody that slowly builds into this dramatic, theatrical paradise. I also like how the song itself displays consistency when it comes to the actual songwriting itself, since it's one of the more simpler tracks when it comes to this album. Although the instrumentals to this tune were nice, I will say there wasn't really anything that really stuck out about this tune. Besides my little criticism there, I will say that the song does provide another solid instrumental that highlights the arrangement mighty good, so that's one good factor I can give to Ringo. The next track is I Hada. For this track, I will admit the instrumentals toward this song were rather weird since it incorporates this intense vibe that makes it quite hard to process in certain aspects of it. In the beginning, we don't really hear anything but this intense harmonica. Then it goes silent for a bit, and then the music slowly builds up again. And then we hear her coming with these eerie, almost downright scary vocals. Yet I truly believe that she purposely made the song that way since the simple corporation between her voice alongside this uniquely written accordation will indeed grab your attention. And despite those excellent factors within this song, I will say the one thing within this song that resonated my interest was the song's lyrics. Again, the lyrics to this song were very well written. From the song's message, it seems to be referring to the concepts of skin around people. And when I look at these lyrics and analyze them, it can be easily interpreted how others think just because they have a certain skin that they're better than others. It may not necessarily have to do with skin color itself. It may have to do with just the status within their life. Because when you truly think about it, there are some people in this world who truly believe that they are better than other people. Like rich people, for example. Not all rich people, of course, but there are some people that do think just because they have a certain title or a certain ranking that they're better than everyone else, and therefore they deem themselves as superior. The same could be said about racism too, because since of my skin color, there's always going to be people out there who think they're better than me because of my skin color. And they tend to not look at what's in the inside. They tend to see just the color of my skin, which it can be depressing at times, but I've grown accustomed to it. I think that's what she was trying to say within this tune. Yet when I really sit down and think about it, I believe the true message of this song is not necessarily towards the concepts of skin. It's just how skin is just skin. Because at the end of the day, whether you're a prostitute or a celebrity or someone of royal birth or just a normal person, every one of us possess normal skin. I guess if there was another way for me to simplify the meaning, I guess it means something along the lines, we're all human. We all bleed the same blood, and at the end of the day, we're all going to face the same struggles, no matter how different or where we come from. I think that's where she was trying to go with this. I really found the lyrics of this song very intriguing. It really goes with the music and the overall theme of it overall. So I thought this was a really well crafted song. Like I said before, this song was quite interesting to interpret since there are a lot of suitable elements and themes that makes this quite memorable. This is perhaps the closest thing this album has had toward a straightforward rock song. Although that is good because it does symbolize the structured change that Ringo's bringing forth within this album. If I had to be really honest with you guys, I will say that this song itself is not completely great. It opens up sounding like this generic rock piece that doesn't really do the song justice in my opinion. Even her vocals, which are usually fantastic, couldn't really add that much flair within this, and I found that trait extremely disappointing because that could be the one thing that could have truly saved this song. This is probably one of the reasons why I consider this probably my least favorite song off this album, because it's easily forgettable because there's nothing really about it that really stands out. Despite that, I can see if another person were to like it. It does possess a certain quality to it that might catch another person's interest. So if someone were to like it, I can understand why, but overall this just wasn't really one of my favorite songs. However, I don't think it's bad. This is not really my cup of tea. Just as I thought this album was over, we finally get introduced to the album's bonus track. And I'll admit, when I first heard this instrumentation here, I thought it was so beautiful, but then as you can hear, it gets cut off, and I will admit that kind of disappointed me because I really liked what it was doing right there. But I will admit, as Ringo starts to sing here, I will admit it makes up for it. As I said in the beginning, I'm not overly familiar with Ringo's music, but I do note that this track here was considered the bilingual reinterpretation of her earlier classic of the same song, which I thought was really interesting for this. One thing I will say about this track is that this track was extremely groovy. However, if I had to be honest with you guys, I will say that this track was a bit of an awkward addition to this album because it does ruin the album's carefully structured symmetry. But despite that small dent of the song, I don't really pay attention to that because I really enjoyed listening to this. This was a really good song, well, remix, and it did a great job closing the album, so that's one good thing I can say about it. Okay, overall, as a whole, I really enjoyed this album. Shiina Ringo definitely demonstrated an obsessed nature within the context of jazz music that was very pronounced on this album. Listening to this album was quite interesting because it draws musical themes from the concepts of jazz to hip-hop to R&B to rock that easily displays the tremendous talent Ringo possesses when blending these arrangements towards the concept of the same genre, which further implies the further theme of this album. I also like this album based off its theme because the album itself is based off the entertainment industry. Over and over again within the lyric, she seems to be talking about various different subjects that thrive with the sense of the entertainment industry, such as fads, phony gentlemen, temporary virgins, sideshows, profitable and mediocre skin, that are all under the title and theme, which is titled Superficial Gossip. Once again, I would like to thank the YouTube user Jim Tallin for requesting this album. I do hope based off this review you found the opinions I've shared on this album worth listening to, because I really did try my best for this album. Although I'm not really familiar with this artist, I did try to at least understand things from her point of view. So hopefully, based off this album, I've given you a better understanding from the lyrics and the overall theme it carries. So thank you again for requesting this, and for everyone else, be sure to check out his channel as well because he does album reviews as well. So I'll either link it in the description box below or within this video somewhere. Like if it's not in the description box, I'll be here for sure. Although I'm still somewhat new to Ringo, I will say that this was a strong album that represented this greatest simplicity within this work here. It's true that I don't love every song off this album, but I will say the style itself showcases Ringo's strongest material and is one of the reasons I can give this album 5 stars, because it displays its own originality that delivers this beautiful execution, and I can easily recommend this album to anyone without question. So that was my review for this album. I do hope the YouTube user Jim Tallin and everyone else who is a fan of Ringo enjoyed the opinions I had on this album, because although I am new to this artist, I will say I really really did enjoy myself when listening to this album because it really gave me a touch on how this artist sees things, and I will admit I was rather intrigued, if I had to be honest with you guys. As I always say in my videos, if anyone has a person they would like me to review, even if I don't know the person, feel free to leave it in the comments below and I'll be sure to get to it eventually. The next person I review will be a person who I haven't shared the review spotlight on for a while, so I hope you will all be looking forward to that. And once again, thank you guys for watching this video. So until next time, you guys, see ya!